Well, I don't think I need trouble you any further. For the moment.
I quite understand your position, Inspector. It's a terrible, terrible thing.
Yes. Well, good day to you.
Good day, sir. Oh, Madeline.
Yes, John?
Madeline, you shouldn't have done it. Why, they'll have the scandal all over every newspaper in the city.
Well, a scandal is better than a hanging, isn't it?
Oh, but there must have been some other way. Now they'll tear you to shreds. They won't have you in anything better than a music hall for the rest of your life.
John, there won't be any scandal if...
If what?
John, it wasn't just my tiff with Nell Garrett that sent me wandering through the fog last night. I was thinking about something much more serious.
What do you mean?
I was thinking about what you said.
What I had said?
John, perhaps I don't really love you yet, but there's no one else. And you're the finest, kindest man I've ever known.
Madeline.
And now perhaps you saved my life.
Oh, Madeline, I love you more than anything else in this world. But I wouldn't have you marry me for gratitude.
I wouldn't marry any man for gratitude.
Madeline, if I were to tell you that I wasn't here last night either, that I couldn't explain my whereabouts.
Oh, I see.
Would you still marry me?
Yes, John. I will marry you. Shall I continue, gentlemen?
Oh, yes. Please do, Miss Tremaine. It's most absorbing. Indeed it is.
Really? I hope you don't mind the lights turned off. It's the storm. I suppose I am a sort of an elemental creature, but I always love to sit here and have it dark when it's stormy outside.
Not at all.
Well, then, our marriage was a very happy one. Perhaps not entirely in the high tradition of grand passion, but a thoroughly comfortable, civilized relationship. Until something happened which is so often a tragic feature of wedded life between two stage personalities. You see, for the first 2 seasons, John and I always played together. And then managers began to ask for me alone. What could I do? I was young, just reaching the peak of my career. John was past his prime and popularity, and so at last he had no longer even tried to have a career, but lived along on false hopes and idle dreams and tiresome reminiscences. And both took up those little hobbies to pass the time away. Oh, a little stout. It was very difficult for both of us. And then, for me, came the time and opportunity that every actress dreams of. Oh, mademoiselle. Hello, Suzette. I've got the most wonderful news. The most wonderful, wonderful news.
That you, Madeline?
I'll tell you all about it later. Oui, mademoiselle. Yes, John?
Come in here a moment. I want to show you something.
Where are you?
I'm in here in the den.
Oh, good heavens. Now what?
I thought I'd keep it a secret until I had my first exhibit, but I couldn't wait. I've taken up etching.
Etching?
Yes. Look, here.
What's that?
You?
What?
Well, it's only the copper plate, of course. You see, the whole principle of etching... Madeline, oh.
What's the matter?
You almost knocked over that vat of nitric acid. One drop of that on your beautiful white skin would burn a hole right through.
Well, if you must have that sort of thing around, darling.
Well, of course, that's the whole thing. You see, the sketch simply scrapes the wax off the copper plate. Then you drop it in the acid.
Well, that's very interesting, darling, but...
Oh, yes. Well, tell me, what happened in town? Anything?
Anything. Everything.
Well, plans, eh? Anyone ask for me?
Oh, yes, everyone asked for you, John. I told them you were well.
No, I mean, well, I thought there might be a couple of decent plays for a change. I might consider something.
Yes. John, darling, how are you on Romeo?
Romeo?
Yes, you see, Maxwell has finally asked me to do a Shakespeare repertory. And high time, by the way. I'm starting in Romeo and Juliet, and I had...
Why didn't you tell me, Romeo? We'll be a sensation. It's just the very thing I need.
I know.
I can do it all right. It'd take off a little weight, brush up in the lines. I've done it before, you know.
I know, John, darling.
Madeline. Oh, you're the dearest wife and the best friend a man ever had. You know, lately I've actually wondered sometimes if you might not think I wasn't... Oh, my darling.
I know, John, but don't count too heavily on this. I'm not quite sure yet that things will work out.
Work out? How else can they work out but perfectly?
Very well. I'd like to begin reading here at home first, tomorrow evening. From yet I should kill thee with much cherishing.
Of course.
No. Yet I should kill thee with too much cherishing. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace, so sweet to rest.
Yes, but you see, on those last, you should really already be moving off the stage. You don't want to make too much of them. After all, the scene really ends when Juliet leaves the balcony.
I know, but you can't just throw them away, Madeline, dear. Those are very famous lines.
Yes, but, John, we mustn't think so much in terms of lines as of performance.
Pardon, mademoiselle.
Yes, Suzette.
Monsieur Alexandre Duncan is here.
Oh, yes, show him in.
Oui, mademoiselle.
Alan Duncan, what's that young ham coming around for?
Well, John, I've been meaning to tell
Hello,
you.
Madeline.
Hello, Alex. Do you know my husband?
Oh, why, yes, of course. How'd you do, Mr. Tremaine?
The name is Gaylord.
Oh, yes. Of course, Mr. Gaylord. Well, I say, aren't I the luckiest fellow in the world?
Are you?
John.
You'll be playing Romeo opposite Madeline Tremaine. Oh, Madeline, when I got your cable, I could hardly believe it. I jumped on the boat without even packing a bag. Is something wrong?
John, I've been trying to tell you, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
If I've interrupted something.
No, it's all right, Alec. John, please don't make a scene. I had to have someone to rehearse with me until Alec got here, and I knew you wouldn't be the slightest help to me if you thought... Oh,
Madeline.
John, why must you make an issue of it?
I've always known you were a thoughtless, selfish woman. But I never would have believed that you could do anything quite so vile.
How dare you speak to me that way? You didn't really think that a man with a 40-inch waistline and a double chin could ever play Romeo, did you?
I say...
Get out of here. Get out. Get out. Get out.
I say...
Oh, I have to go and apologize, I suppose. John, I want to talk to you. John?
Madeline, be careful of that acid.
Acid? Oh, John, I'm terribly sorry for what I said. It was beastly of me.
Oh, it's quite all right, Madeline.
Oh, John, I knew you'd see it that way when you came to see it.
Yes, because you see, I am going to play Romeo.
Oh, really, John? Must we go through it all over again?
Madeline, I've forgiven and forgotten a lot of things since we've been married. I pushed you out in front. I've given you the spotlight. And watched your regard for me become somewhat less than for your servant, or somewhat more than for your dog.
John, now look here.
But this, if only for my self-respect, I will not allow to dangle before my eyes the thing that I wanted most in all the world, except your beauty, that I gave it up for. The thing I've been wanting so much I didn't dare admit it to myself. And then to have you snatch it from me. No, Madeline, no. Waistlines and double chins can be concealed, but a mean spirit, never. This one thing you can do for me, and you will.
John, really, you're being
You see,
a fool.
I've always known that you married me to save your career and to keep my mouth shut. But there's one thing you haven't known. Where I was the night Nell Garrett was murdered.
Where were you?
I was at Nell Garrett's home.
Well, that explains quite a number of things, doesn't it, John?
Madeline, where did you get that gun?
I always thought someday I might need one.